Hello, this is my video on my thoughts on the new Minnie Mouse. Wait, no, that's not Minnie Mouse. Goofy's kid is Max. Goofy's grandson. No, I'm kidding. This is the Mini Maxx. Nothing with, Pete or, was it PJ? Anyway. So this is Traxxas' new vehicle, which will be released on November 27, and it's actually awesome. I really, really appreciate how Traxxas is stepping up its game and producing quality vehicles and updating some of the old classics. I'm going to call them old classics from Traxxas, with better materials, better arms, especially using their winter plastics. And one really neat thing about this vehicle is it's four-wheel drive, and it comes with the brushless system, the BL2S. And if you're curious about the BL2S specs, I do have a video where I measure things, take it apart. I do a Gauss reading on the rotor as well. And I like this motor. For an RTR, I actually do like this motor. This is what my Traxxas Slash 4x4 has, and I think it's plenty of power just to have fun. Of course, there's other things that are much faster, much more powerful that will help you in braking stuff. I mean, doing massive jumps and having fun. But even on the Fortec, it's a very good motor, good runtime, stays relatively cool. So the fact that this motor is in this vehicle is actually pretty good. I like the motor mount, how it's very easy. You just use the chart, and then you use the holes, and then you look at the letters on the one side, and you get a perfect mesh every time, unless you don't. But there is the lineup. Now, something that I really, it's really a Mini Maxx. It truly is, and it's a great design. This is what I guess a new Stampede should be, and Stampede 4x4s are really fun. I really do like them. If you haven't watched my videos, I do have a whole build series where I get the builder's kit, and I build every component. So if you're curious about how everything works on the Stampede 4x4, I would encourage you to watch that video. Now, something that I'm going to mention is the battery tray. The battery tray is 113 millimeters long. Your standard pack, 2S pack, for example, Genze's Redline 6,000 milliamp hour battery, that pack is going to be about 136 millimeters long. So those packs will not fit here, unfortunately. Now, the shorties, you will be able to fit the shorties lengthwise, but height-wise, if you get anything over, anything over 4,100, 4,200, I don't remember, 5,000 and up, those tend to be about 25 millimeters, and here the height says 22 millimeters. I really do want to get this once it comes out, but I don't know if the battery tie here will flip to allow for a slightly taller battery pack as other Traxxas vehicles accommodate for. Hopefully it does, but here I cannot tell based on the page if it does or does not. But assuming it does not, no big deal. Velcro is the way to go in this case. With the, I want to say it's TrueTech. I forget. I have one that I haven't used, and that would be awesome. So if I get one, I'd probably put one of those on. I mean, as fun as it would be to get a 3,500 milliamp hour battery just so that it fits, as opposed to using my shorties with longer capacity. Wait, no, yeah, I wouldn't do that. I would just slap that Velcro on there. I want to say it's TrueTech, but I could be wrong. Now the shocks, Traxxas does have the aluminum shocks. They're not released yet. They probably won't be released until the vehicle is released, and they're about $80 for the set. And I'm not sure which ones I would go with. Part of me wants to go with the orange, but I might end up going with either green or blue. But the orange, I think I would really like to go with the orange for those. But like I said, going back to the motor, it is a BL2S motor. And one of the things that I find that's really cool is the following. The weight of this vehicle is it's a kilo 64. So we're looking at 3 pounds, 3.62 pounds. If we compare this now, and this vehicle is $240, I think it's great value at price point. If we compare it with the Traxxas Stampede 4x4, which is loads of fun, the Stampede weighs almost 6 pounds, 2.7 kilos, and you have the same motor. So power to weight ratio, really good on the Mini. And if we look at the Rustler is 5.13 pounds, so 2 kilos 33. If we look at the Slash 4x4, 5 pounds 31, so 241 kilos. But that's not even the best part. The best part is the following. And some of you probably figured it out just looking at the pictures. But let me talk about something else before I get to the best part. At price point, the Summit, this little thing, the 116 Summit, they're almost the same dimensions. They're the same price, $250. All right. I mean, the value that the Mini is giving is great. Or you can say this is not very good value. I'm not a fan of the Formula One suspension on monster trucks or the Revo style suspension. I actually strongly dislike it. Some people really love it. I was never a fan. And I have a video where I complain about it with my, was it the Nitro 3.3? I don't think it's very good suspension. But anyway, that aside, that's not really the point. Some of you can, feel free to disagree. But I think it's easier to tune the shocks, and I think the other shocks are better. And if you say, well, Formula One uses it must be awesome. Formula One uses it to save space and weight. That's the reason why. If not, they probably wouldn't be using it. But let's go over the dimensions. So if we look at the dimensions, first of all, this comes with a Titan 12 motor, which is, I think, a very good system. I think it's an underappreciated system. But if we look at the dimensions, for example, this one, the Summit 16, is just a little wider than the Mini. Just wider. So the Mini is just under 10 inches, 253 millimeters. So it's 9 inches, 94, where the Summit is 1043 inches, so 265 millimeters. But if you look at the wheelbase, the Summit is 214 versus 220 inches. That would be, do I have to use inches? All right, so 8.48, right? It's just I'm not a carpenter. And here we're looking at the width, 253, I already mentioned that. So let's see, wheelbase. Wheelbase is 8 inches 66, which is that 220 millimeters that I mentioned. Overall length is 345 millimeters, 13.58 inches. All right, so if you notice, there isn't much of a difference. This is 320 in length. There isn't much of a difference as far as the footprint of the vehicle and the length. But this one is much taller. The Summit is 190 millimeters, 7.48 versus 137 millimeters, 539 inches, so 5 inches, 0.39. Same price, BL2 motor, really good stuff. But it's not just the power to weight ratio compared to the Stampede, the Slash, and the Rustler. And those are great vehicles. I mean, the Rustler's pretty much an LCG Stampede. I mean, those, if you have one of those, you probably love the speed on that thing, because you can get those things to run pretty fast, pretty reliable. I mean, you can every vehicle, but it won't flip over as easily as a Stampede or some of the other vehicles, or a short course for that matter. The main thing is the dimensions. If we look at the dimensions, forget about the Summit. I wouldn't get the Summit. But if we look at the Stampede, look at the overall length, 17.9 inches, 454 millimeters. Let's look at the Rustler, 18 inches, 457. All right, and the Slash is the longest. Now that we've looked at that, let's look at the Mini. The Mini is 9.93 inches wide, which is 253 millimeters. That means that the width of the Mini is just over the length of the Rustler. Did I do that right? Was that 9? That was a 9, right? Yep. So it's going to be, say, if you grab two of these and put them side to side, it's about 2 inches longer. Now, let's look at the overall length. The overall length is 345, under 14 inches in length. And let's look at the width of the Rustler. 12, almost 13 inches. The width, just over 13 inches, so 333 millimeters, 329 millimeters. Let's focus on these two right now. Just over. So what this means is two of these vehicles side by side will take up just over the same footprint as this vehicle, while being, 3 inches shorter, which is significant. We're looking at 137 millimeters versus 212 millimeters. So let's just say 80 millimeters. That's a significant difference. I mean, the transmitters could sit on top and you would have a similar footprint. That means the Mini, you could probably comfortably carry in a backpack. Or if you have kids and you're going to the park with your wife, because that's the largest open space available to you, you can fit it in the buggy, the stroller. You can fit it in the stroller and still have space for other items, and you don't have to fight with your wife over whether diapers are more important than your RC, which is not a problem that I have with mine because she generally hangs the diaper bag on top, so I have space underneath. But now, let's just say you have an RC mate. Your kid is a little older. You can fit two of these where you would only fit one of the other vehicles. And this is actually awesome. So for me, this is one of the biggest selling points. It is compact, but it still has a very good system. So power to weight ratio is going to be pretty good, especially since I've been running this system in my Slash 4x4. Putting it in this, which is lighter, this is going to be awesome. Not to mention the dimensions. So, this being said, I am planning on picking one up as soon as they come out, or as soon as I can get my hands on one of them. Next thing you know, they come out and they're a total sellout, and I'm stuck sucking my thumb for a while, which is fine, no big deal. But this is something to consider and look forward to. So I hope this information and my overall talk was informative, or at least entertaining. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
What? Oh, my hair! My tongue! My rod!